Well, yes, I believe I am awfully smart. But wouldn't it be wonderful to be intelligent? Goodbye, my dear. I was sitting in BIM class, just typing away at my work, and I get this pass from the office. I help out first period in the office. I usually help out with the computers whenever they need help in like Photoshop or anything. And I saw the pass and I figured they needed help with their computers again. So I walk over there. And as soon as I walk into the office, our director, he's there waiting for me. He pulled me out of the class just so he could offer me the role. I didn't audition. It was thrust upon me.
I've been in theater a couple years prior. I don't know, I just wanted to do it my last year, and I was hesitant because I was so busy with a bunch of other things, but I just thought, let me just show up and let me just see what happens. And I read, and I'm not a cowboy at all. Like, I don't know anything about, I don't even like animals. So I was like, how am I gonna be a macho character? Like, no, a macho cowboy at that. But I read, and apparently I read well. And so I just kind of built up that cowboy within me, I guess. And so here I am.
Sure. And if I was a man, I would beat the living daylights out of you.
I had to audition, and even though I was the most experienced, this role is the main character, but I still had to audition like everybody else. So I have been in different plays where I had to use a country accent, so that wasn't new to me at all. So it just came very natural to me.
My character is Elma Duckworth, and she is kind of a representation of what teenagers were like back then. She's kind of at that in-between age where she's starting to learn about the world, but she doesn't really know a lot about it. She knows that there's alcoholics out there, that there's drinkers and everything, but she's never really met one. She knows that there's people that are very rough, they treat women horribly, but this is like the first time that she's meeting someone like that.
Well, I was walking in the hallway and Mr. Villarreal pulled me aside and told me that he wanted me to be the sheriff, and that was it, and just to show up after school. And he's pretty intimidating, so I just did it. My favorite part of the play is when I kick Bo out of the door. It's fun. It's not what I would normally do, so it's just fun to be a tough guy.
I've been coaching powerlifting at Weslaco High School for the past 7 years, and about 2 months ago, an email came out. They were looking for a theater one-act play director to fill in for a contest. I got excited when I read the email. I haven't done theater for 7 years. The last time I did theater was in Beeville, Texas. I quickly went to go see Mr. Ornelas, the assistant principal, and I told him that I was interested. He told me that there was a lot of people applying for it, that he'd get back to me. A couple of days went by. He came back to me and said, "Are you still interested in doing the theater job?" I said, "Yes." And by that time, I had already looked into how many days were still available before contest, which was about 4 weeks. I had already looked into the new rules and kind of just read up on it just in case the opportunity came up. I like being prepared for whatever comes up.
Mrs. Sir, I have no missus. I'm free to travel about anywhere and anywhere without anyone to await my arrival anywhere. My freshman year, he was my speech teacher. So 3 years later, he pulls me out. He saw all the energy I'd put into my speeches, and he just figured I'd be great at acting.
The cast, I love so much. I love so many of us. We're all really different, but we're very much like the Breakfast Club. We just really did come together, and we really did just enjoy each other's company, you know, and it was fun to go over lines and just goof off when we could, and it was really fun to spend as much time as we did into this alongside one another.
The theme of the play is to give something a chance. She's very caught off guard by Bo. She doesn't know who she is, but once you see later on in the play, once she gets to know him and once Virgil tells her you're the first girl he's ever been with. That surprises her because that's not something that she's used to. She's used to guys always coming up to her and always just trying to get their way with her. And so by him being the first guy this is his first experience with a woman, that really surprises her. And that gives her the green light to say, you know what, maybe I should give this guy a chance. And they end up getting married from there. So give your heart a chance and don't do something from the book value of something. Really read the book and get into it.
When Elma Duckworth meets Dr. Lyman, she just is so amazed by the fact that this guy knows Shakespeare.
He jests at scars that have never felt a wound. But soft, when light through yonder window breaks, it is the east, and Juliet is the sun.
She lives in a small hick town, you know. They're just worried about their own little business and everything. They don't really care about Shakespeare. You know, it's just a guy in a book.
Just the sheer over-the-topness that I was able to bring to the role, because I would act for my church like once in a while, and I would play villains a lot. And villains in any type of media, they have this grandeur to them. And so when I got to slip into the shoes of just being grandeur and over the top, I was right at home.
Elma meets Dr. Lyman, and then it's like, whoa, who is this person? An educated person? You read regularly? Oh my Lord, you know?
I didn't feel I had to do too much research into the character other than just the appearance and things like that. And my stepdad likes to watch a lot of like the Andy Griffith Show and stuff like that. So I would watch that, and also just meet, I'm also in band, so having that authoritative, you know, background, because I'm the drum major for the band. It helped out, but most of the time I was just being myself.
I was kind of a theater techie for a very long time, and when I got a college scholarship to play football to Tarleton State, I still needed some money to help pay for the other part of the college, and there was a theater partial scholarship at Tarleton, and that's where I got into theater.
No, you're not going to be sobering me up with your little dainties. Dr. Lyman, he's very eccentric. He's a drunk, so he carries a flask in his pocket that he'll constantly pull out and take swigs from. He has this briefcase, and inside that briefcase he has this huge bottle of whatever drink fits his taste at the moment. He loves Shakespeare. That's probably the only thing you'll ever get a serious conversation with him about.
This time you kiss me and I'll be different.
It was a little bit scary, like the thought of it. Luckily, I've known her for a long time, and it actually wasn't that bad. The nerves, they went away really quickly, and it was fine, I'm a good kisser too, so.
Weird, very weird, because I do have a boyfriend, and so for my mom and the guy that I kissed mom to see that, I was just like, this is going to be so awkward. But I mean, the guy I kissed is like my best friend. So at first it was like, this is weird because he's my best friend. I've known him since I was little. But after a while, it's just like, been there, done that. I don't care anymore.
And a museum, and sometimes even symphony concerts and plays. I go there every Sunday to visit my married sister.
What people don't see is the amount of time that you put into your character. When I was looking at my character, I could only find out 50s diner waitress, naive, and not a lot to her. What I had to do was I had to put a lot of thought into it. And Tinker also helped me with the idea that she's kind of going out there. She's trying to be in the world, be something bigger and better.
Telephone coming to kind of get the lines back up. March is coming in like a lion. At the beginning of the play, I come in and inform everyone that there's a blizzard, all this, you know, the road's blocked, so we have this bus full of all these different characters come in. All of them are, you know, different backgrounds, different histories, but this guy grabs my attention right away, Bo, because he's some rough and tumble cowboy. He comes in just, you know, already in a bad mood, screaming, leaving the door wide open, no manners. Right as he walks in, he catches my attention, and I have to set him straight. it all revolves around Bo trying to steal Cherry away and get her to marry him. There's this one scene where he goes up to her, picks her up, and starts walking off with her, and I have to, yell at him to put her down and all this stuff, and he wants to fight me, and he throws a punch and he misses, and I kick his butt out the door.
There's two places that I've always felt very comfortable, and it's the weight room and the theater. I fell in love with the theater the minute I got into it when I was in high school. Being on stage, being able to be a character you've never been before, being able to create a setting and make it believable to people, being able to make special effects, and having fun.
Driver. It appears to me that we're still in the state of Kansas, is that correct? When I saw in the script that he's a traveler, he never stays in one place for far too long, I immediately thought of one of my favorite TV shows, Doctor Who. He never stays in one place for far too long. He's very fast, he's very energetic, so I incorporated his fast way of talking, the British accent, due to the fact that he travels in so many places that I gave him an accent that you don't know exactly where he's from.
See, my name is Bo Decker, and I'm 22 years old. I got my own ranch up in Timber Hill, Montana. I wanted to be like a bull rider, how they are and how they're just real, I don't know how they are. I tried to embody, and so yeah, that I spent time researching.
Everybody is really dedicated to their character. Even though we were in a very different situation, everybody still had the same drive and more than what you would expect from a PSJA school who's been to regionals 6 years in a row. And for that, really meant a lot to me, especially because I've been doing this for 4 years, this one at competition, and I've never felt so much of a passion for this play and for any play in particular. So I think that really meant a lot to me in specific, because just like I said, I've never felt that from a cast, so I really appreciated that.
I am a pretty big guy, but I don't usually have to be violent or resort to anything like that to, get a point across. I don't usually come across people like that. So it was kind of weird being a big tough guy like that, because outside I don't really feel like I am. I have done some things that require me to go out in front of an audience and speak, or just minor things like MC for the concerts that we have for the school band, but nothing to where I have to pretend to be somebody else or use a fake accent. I was a little weird at first, but everybody else was so comfortable just being goofy or being somebody else that I felt comfortable moving into that character without really having to worry about anybody making fun of me, because everybody else is a lot weirder than I am.
The stressful part of it was that I only had 4 weeks to put this together. It's very, very difficult to get a play and for someone to tell you you only got 4 weeks to put this on. When I first got the original play, it was the wrong play. I think it was chamber music. I had already talked to some cast members about what we're going to be doing. The next thing I know, we're doing Bus Stop. They had already ordered the scripts, so I had to switch gears really quick within a week. I had tryouts. Not very many kids came to tryouts, so I was left with creating a cast.
I was sitting in my chair like this, waiting for, just the drama coach to come in. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be your drama coach. And I'm just thinking, seriously, this guy, he's probably going to be like, okay, you guys can direct yourself. And then he's like, I'm already drawing up a set. I'm already doing all this. I'm like, but you have muscles and you look, mind blown.
When he came in my freshman year for speech class, and he busts out this speech degree. Well, we figured that was his hidden depth. That was like like an onion. You peel back the layers, and there's a speech degree right there. And then, come 4 years later, I'm getting called out of my classroom. Turns out the powerlifting coach and the speech teacher has been given the role of director for the one act. And we peel back another layer, and it turns out he has a theater degree. But he's very passionate about all of this. It wouldn't have worked if he didn't have that passion. All these props, everything around us, I mean, that came from him. He dedicated so much time and effort into this. He put so much heart into this work.
Our director, Mr. Villarreal, he just blew us all off the edge. Everybody was thinking, he's just a powerlifting coach. Like, what does he know? But he has a degree in this stuff, and he knows what he's doing. And he just stepped in, and we literally only had 4 weeks to come up with the play, to get our costumes, to get our set, to do everything we needed to do. And I think because of the time crunch we had, really motivated everybody else in the cast to go full force with their characters.
I wouldn't have tried this one act if Mr. Villarreal hadn't pulled me out of the hallway. That was like the defining moment, because I didn't want to say no to this guy and have to see him every time I went to class. And he knows that I said no. But I'm really glad I did it, because it really has been a very satisfying and really fun experience for me, and it's really changed the way I think about what I want to do for the rest of my life.
There was a little bit inside of me that said, can I do this? I kind of questioned myself. I hadn't done this in 7 years. Can I just pick up and go? Do I still have that drive and love for the theater? And I think what I learned about myself is yes, I think there's a lot left in me that I still need to give the theater. What a refreshing way to come back into theater after being gone for 7 years. To come back in, be blessed with such a great group of kids. This is an amazing group of kids. Every moment that we had together was fun. Everything they do is fun. And they all have some great talents.
At first, I was kind of thinking, this isn't going to work. How can you have people who've never acted in their lives put on a play? And as practices started to evolve and we started to really get the play together, how they were so passionate about this really brought out their inner actor. And because they were so dedicated to it, it didn't matter that they came off of the hallway or that they came out in a classroom. It just mattered that they had so much passion for this play and as a consensus that they really came out, and I really liked that.
It was exciting when we first went in to do our script reading. Like the first day that Mr. Villarreal came out and told me that I had to be a sheriff, that first day that I went over to the acting room and we were all just reading the scripts, it clicked really well and everything looked really good just on the first day. So I feel like that encouraged everybody to just keep trying and keep showing up to practices and really give it our all right up until the end to that day. And even that day, we sat through one play and we decided we need to get back there and start, warming up and getting into character because we wanted to win. And I felt like we were the underdogs in the competition a little bit because, we hadn't had a long time to prepare a show. Other shows had huge, massive sets and sound effects and, mood lighting and stuff like that. And we have one, pretty much stationary background. And so we wanted to, I feel like I wanted to just blow everybody else out of the water.
I've coached football before and I've coached powerlifting, and there's a look in a competitor's eyes that you can see that it's game day. It's time, it's go time. And I remember looking at this cast right before we went on the stage, and I looked at them and I said, "Are you guys ready to go?" And they all looked at me like with that same intensity. It's go time. And I knew when I walked down the steps that we were going to advance. I felt at that moment right then.
I got on my knees and I cried, and I just thank God for blessing us with that award, because out of all the times I've been in one act, we've never gotten first. We've advanced, but we've never gotten first. And to be first in a district that is solely concentrated on acting, because almost all the PSJA schools have gone to regionals at least once. And for us to beat a PSJA school at a PSJA school's auditorium, it just meant a lot to me, even though we probably didn't work as hard as all the other schools did. But the fact that the judges recognized that we were on the same level as them really changed my perspective of this play and the potential of this play.
When we went to contest, best actor, we had all-star casts. We won the zone competition, going up against some very great schools that have been working on their play for months. So I just feel very blessed to have this group of kids.
This was my first time doing anything like this aside from small roles and like a skit for kids. So the fact that they chose me for Best Actor was very humbling. I regret not being able to do it again next year, but I will say that it really opened my eyes to working more into theater, more into production, more into acting.
A lot of the castmates were all involved in different extracurricular activities, but I think the common bond or whatever between all of us is that we all know what it is to compete. We all know what it is to want to succeed or want to beat, another school or whatever. So that level of intensity, I guess, is it helped us so much, and it's what got us as far as it did. Performing in front of judges was a little bit scary because even in years that I've done theater, it kind of consists of like backstage stuff. So knowing that people were watching me and critiquing me and everything, I was extremely nervous. But I don't know, I just had to pretend a little bit that they weren't there and just have fun with it and try my best to be the best cowboy I could be.
There's going to be things in life where you're going to have to make a fast-paced decision, and that's something that I've learned in theater. When somebody drops their line, like that happened to us at competition, somebody said something that was supposed to be said at the second act, and so that really made we all had to kind of think in our minds, on stage, in front of the judges, what can we do to make this up? So that's something that I think we can carry on through life, because there are going to be those situations where you're going to have to impromptu, you can say, well, what do I do? How am I supposed to fix this? You know what I mean? So I think that's something that I've carried on as an actress, that I've learned on stage, that I can really apply to my real life.
The day of competition, we were confined in this little room, and we couldn't really leave that much, and we couldn't yell, and we couldn't scream, and we couldn't be as eccentric as some of us are, and we had to just kind of stay focused and get our mind like wrapped around our cast and wrapped around our character.
During the second round, when the alarm went off, I was like, yes, bonus points. And everyone just went on going. I loved it when Bo and Sherry just started fighting, and it came on at the perfect part because they were screaming at each other, which made their body language get a lot more out there. And so they're just like, how are you gonna treat someone that way? And their body language just looks like they're ready to fight that minute. They're gonna like, gloves off and there's gonna be blood everywhere. So that's the body language that was given out, and I loved it because it added a lot. And of course, we got a lot of applause from the audience for going on. Very important, extremely important. Only listen to the director. Unless, of course, the backstage manager is like, shh, then of course, that means be quiet and you follow that.
I think the technical theater is very, very significant in our play, because without the techies, as we call them, you wouldn't know when the bus is coming. If it weren't for the techies, you wouldn't know when, when somebody's trying to sing a song. You wouldn't know any of that. You wouldn't know when the next scene is without the blackout. And I think because of the people that work with the lights and the sound really gives not just us as actors cues, but also gives the audience the ability to understand what's going on. Because when you have scene changes, it's not just, okay, we're done, let's go to a next scene, there's a blackout. And it's because of the techies that there's a blackout. And that really helps like the judges and the audience understand, okay, this is the next scene.
There's so many different parts to theater that you will learn from, but one of the things that I want them to walk away with is that they can just step out of their shell for a moment and become another character. And not only that, they can also succeed at doing that. In 4 weeks, we put together a play, and they themselves were kind of maybe questioning, can I do this? Can I become this character, make it believable, and be successful? I was talking to Jalen Portillo this morning about possibly changing his major in college or his career, which way he wants to go. He was thinking about computer science. Now he wants to do theater, and I think that's part of one of the major components, opening their eyes to a new world, because theater is, you know, especially for me, been a part of my career.
I think that the author's intent when writing this was just to make people laugh, but also give a heartwarming story at the same time, because that's really what it is. It's just, it's like all these characters are coming in, and there's even a reference to Chaucer and how all these different characters and stories are coming up, but they're all in the same place and they're funny, but they teach a lesson. So like Sherry and Bo, you know, just because you're one way on the outside doesn't mean that you're that way on the inside too. People have multiple layers, and you know, you just got to look for that soft spot inside.
When I first read the play, I wasn't too sure what the message was, but at the end, I think, you know, there's just a big message of hope and love, and also how all our lives at one point can be all put together. And we go through this every day. A lot of times we go into a restaurant, or we go into a diner, or we go into a certain situation, and there's so many different lives at that one moment. We don't know how we affect other people.
Get her! You ain't got the manners! God gave a monkey!
I always talk to the students about the transformation of your character. At the beginning, you're upset with each other. Then you realize that there might be hope, and then at the end, there's love. Every one of our characters has a transformation, and I think that's one of the main things that judges look for. They want to see your character grow through that 40-minute period. Was there a change in your character, or were the same all the time?
I study a lot of psychology, and I talk to a lot of different groups of people. So I kind of am able to get into people's heads in a way. I go through so much research over something, or just thinking about my character. Sometimes I just slip into it on accident, and I just understand their habits and everything. So if I forget a line or something like that, sometimes I can just go improvise it, because I already know where my character came from, where they're going, what they're thinking at the moment, what their habits are.
One of the toughest things to hear, or one of the greatest things to hear, is a critique. You know, as a director, we have our own way of looking at the play and how it should be portrayed and how it should be given. And it really feels great when a judge picks you number one and tells you how well or how great you and your cast performed. It's kind of like, yes, you know, they got what I was trying to say. I always tell my cast, did you have fun doing what you were doing? Did you enjoy every day of theater? And I think that's the most important thing that they learn. Love what you're doing. Be excited every day about coming to practice or to work. Love what you're doing each and every day.
A boy in class played Romeo, and we presented it for convocation one day.
I wish I had been there to see.
I think the most important thing for directors is to go down to maybe the junior highs or talk to the elementaries. UIL starts at the elementary level with the duet acting and all those different UIL events. And I think the greatest thing is to let them know that, hey, there is another level. After elementary, there's junior high. We have competitions. Not only that, after that, we have the freshman competition, which is very competitive. And then also that, we have the varsity UIL, which is very competitive and goes all the way to the state championship. So your theater's never gonna end. Even after that, there's college. So continue to strive to go to the next level and continue your theater.